the app with another tap. Get what millions already have, the free iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. The number one app for radio.
From the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Make us the number one preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Listen for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
1, 2.
2,
1, 2.
Navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy or sell a house, finance or insure a house, or stuck with a house and don't know what to do? Florida Talk Real Estate has been your local one-stop real estate shop since 2012. Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim DePola and Johnny C. live on Real Radio.
Yeah, good Saturday morning to you. Welcome to another edition of Florida Talk Real Estate. It's 2 hours of infotainment. And thanks for being out there. Whether you're on the old terrestrial radio, 92.1 or 101.7, we appreciate you. Maybe you have your free download, your iHeartRadio app, or worldwide, if that's the case. If you don't, you should, by the way. And we do live stream, claps included. Facebook, Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. YouTube, that's Florida Talk Real Estate LLC, home of a ton of informational chunk videos on YouTube, and a live stream on a Saturday morning. 2 hours worth, by the way. Yeah, cameras are set up in studio. Check it out. If you've never, you should. And it's there. You can always check it out a little later if you'd like. And of course, you're always welcome to be a part of this program. Toll free at 877-927-6969. If you dial in, the first voice you'll hear, it's the melodious tones of our producer extraordinaire. There's my brother from another mother. What up, Jim?
Hello, and good morning, gentlemen. Happy to be here on a Saturday. I think we should be charging extra for the claps, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, hey, you definitely have great ideas on how to make some extra revenue. Yeah, but
just a thought.
Yeah,
but
maybe
we'll give them away for now.
You give it to them for free first, right? And then once they're hooked, then we start charging. You want to throw up your U over there, my man?
Right. Yeah,
I know you do.
It's all about the U.
I know you want to get some of that in there. Nice to see you as always.
Yeah, good to see you as well, Johnny.
Johnny C, that's me, your old buddy, your old pal. Here's your very important people, the most important people on a Saturday. Like Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. What's up, my dude? How are you?
Good morning. I think I just had to follow on Timothy's. It's onlyclaps.com. Only claps. Only claps.
We just emailed that to ourselves.
Hello.
You're screwed.
I'm locking it in now.
Nice.
Go daddy.
Man,
yeah.
Cha-ching.
Would it surprise you to learn that I watched like 10 minutes of Malachi, highlights last night?
No.
Because I was like, who's this? I haven't been paying attention. Of course, now it's all over.
Yeah.
The U is like going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And they got this freshman
Malachi
wide receiver.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
He's electric.
He's legit.
He can get loose for sure.
I mean he's freshman.
Yeah.
College.
You never know how things are going to shake out, but he appears to have some it.
Yeah, some it.
Mm-hmm.
Got the it.
A little bit of it.
A little bit.
Yeah. We'll see how things shake out for them a week from Monday.
Yeah, it's exciting though.
How about the Canes fan base being able to go check out a championship game right in their backyard? Quite possibly. Yeah. Although I'm assuming, based on the way the Hoosier crowd travels around, they're going to have to go deep into their pockets. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be who has the deeper pockets. Yeah.
Well, that's the one great thing about Florida. We do talk about real estate in South Florida, but it's a great destination for sports like finals and stuff. Everyone comes. Why wouldn't you?
That's why we have them here a lot.
Yeah.
It's pretty ideal. Let's say hi.
Especially in the middle of winter. I mean, it's great that way.
Yeah, even more so, better, right? Yeah, if it was August, you'd be like, can we do this somewhere else? This kind of sucks here, actually. Our fearless leader, what did we say? Is it better to say 14?
I'm sticking with the 14.
We're in year 14.
I don't like 13. We're going to
13 plus?
Yeah, 13 plus.
I don't know what sounds better. We told you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. It's the Florida Home Pros team. Keller Williams Innovations. There's Jimmy D. That was hard for me to get out, by the way. Keller Williams Innovations. I don't know what
you've only been saying it for a bunch of years.
Yeah, and it's never really tripped me up. Well, did right now. Can I finish saying hi, Jimmy D? There's Jim DePola. How you be? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was thinking that I messed up your joke when you said to me, should we say 13 or 14? I should have said 220, 221, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. That's what I should have said. I loved that movie when I was younger. I watched that movie a bunch of times.
So, Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom. Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I know the movie.
So Michael Keaton's, he's home and he's got the contractor over and they're putting in new electric for like the washer and dryer. Okay. Or they're talking about it. He's like, you put 220? He's like 220, 221, whatever it takes. He has no idea what.
He has no idea.
Oh, what are you going 220?
This is the appliance guy?
No, this is the owner trying to be macho to the electrician.
Oh, I got it.
He's like, he goes, are you using 220? And then the Michael Keaton goes 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Okay. All right. I'll have to rewatch that. I haven't seen that movie.
I know.
It came out when I was young.
Oh, man.
And I'm sure I haven't seen it since.
That's got to be early 80s?
Early 80s.
84, maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You'd have to look that up, Timothy. But yeah, that's classic. I wonder how it holds up, though. I don't know how long it's been since I've seen that.
I actually saw a little bit of it like 3 years ago on like Netflix or Freebie or Tubi or whatever one of those things are. And the video looks pretty washed out. You know what I mean? Because the quality of the video back then. Yeah.
What was the movie?
Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom?
And then the other movie that was kind of like that I always laugh because this is remember Gung Ho?
I do remember Gung Ho.
Great movie.
Also Michael Keaton.
Yep. Yeah. And when I was a teenager, late teenager, early college, when that came out, and everybody was worried that Japan was taking over our country. Do you remember that? Because they bought the Sears building and everybody's like, they're going to take, and the Japanese car makers were just kicking the American car makers' butt at that point.
Right.
And the show was about the cultural differences of how to run a company between the American way and the Japanese way. And Michael Keaton was in that one too. That's why I'm bringing it up. But with that one, it was just so funny because that movie was all about, it was a comedy, but it was all about the fears of Japan taking us over. It's like, yeah, that really happened really well.
Right.
It was a good wake-up call to the American workforce too. I remember one scene in there, they're like underneath the car doing spot welds and the American, union guy is like, just kind of haphazardly throwing spot welds on the undercarriage of the car. And the Japanese manager's like, no, he's like, here.
Ridiculous,
right? Yeah. It's like, well, wait, is that really us? Are we doing that? Were union guys in the 80s really doing that? I doubt it. But.
Yeah. So
what'd you find there, Jimmy?
83.
August. You're right there. Yep, right there. So anyway, sorry, we went way off track on that, but it was still fun.
That's the entertainment part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we say infotainment, lots of information in the world of real estate, and a little bit of entertainment. I mean, maybe it's loosely based on entertainment.
Well,
yes.
if
you got Michael Keaton movies, throw them in.
Yeah, those are my favorite. We were just talking about Beetlejuice, Gung Ho, and Mr. Mom already.
We were just talking about reboots of movies, and so what about the Batman? Was that a reboot when it came out?
That has been booted. Yeah, that's been booted.
No, but when Michael Keaton did it, was that a reboot? Because it's a reboot of a show.
So I think that's the original movie,
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought
they never had a movie.
He was the original Batman and all of those, Clooney and all of them.
And my favorite Batman too. How about you guys?
I don't think I could say he was my favorite.
No.
I like them.
No, I'm gonna go with what's his name?
Bane.
Yeah. Bateman.
Who you going with?
Keaton. Yeah. But I have a tendency to lean
although
towards
Bateman's
the original.
voice is,
How about?
I don't like any of those movies. I don't like Superman, Batman, Marvel Comics. What's the difference? Marvel and what's the other universe?
DC.
None of that interests me at all because to me, and I know I don't understand it enough, so I'm glossing over this stuff, but the plot is the same. Every single freaking movie is the same thing. And the plot twists are so mapped out. You could guess 5 minutes ahead of time, oh, now they're going to flip it this way. It's like, really? And I know it's fun and exciting and everything. People get, just get a thrill out of it.
Just go with Mike. Say Christian Bale.
Yeah, thank you. I should have just said. I should have just named one.
Yeah, I'm Batman,
that's my little. That's my little rant.
It's the. I think it's the non-costume portion of it. He's a good actor, right? So as what's his face? I want to say John Wayne. It's Bruce Wayne.
When he's Bruce Wayne.
As Bruce Wayne, not John Wayne. But I'm not an expert. I'm kind of like Jim, like that. The whole superhero genre is not my thing. I don't go to see them in the movie theaters.
Me neither.
I'll catch them like the Iron Man. I'll like watch it if
But
it's on.
when Michael Keaton's Batman came out,
Yeah.
I remember me and my brothers,
huge.
we bought our tickets from Bass Ticket Outlet in advance.
Right.
I was first in line for our viewing, and everybody, including myself, had our face painted like this was the big movie.
That was the
It
event.
was
Oh my
huge.
gosh! And
We
I'm not into never comics. Like
I was on. Came out in the summer. I was on the swim team at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I forget what age it was, what year it was, but one of the coaches of the summer. This is our it's not the serious swim team, it's the summer swim team, but one of the coaches came out and we had swim caps with the Batman logo on them.
Nice.
They were black and had the yellow, and it was like that big, where it was like it crossed some weird boundary where we're supporting it on our swim team.
It was
for some
ginormous.
reason.
Yeah, it was huge. It took over the nation. It really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
The Batmobile, right? Remember
Oh,
that
yeah.
Batmobile was
I wanted it.
killer.
Sweet vet. Sorry to go deep into Michael Keaton lore for you guys.
No, that's okay. So I got to ask you this question. I'm just responding to a couple people on social media right now. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Please like our page.
Yeah, do it.
And also go to Florida Talk Real Estate for Google reviews. We've doubled our reviews over the last couple weeks of where we were. We started a little small, so doubling is really nice. But
That really sounds awesome. Unless the details always matter.
Hey.
We went from 1 to 2. Well,
yeah.
You've increased.
Hey,
it by
that's a
100%.
100% increase,
Yeah,
right?
perfect.
If I went from 0 to 1, that would be an infinity % increase. I'm growing at an infinity amount.
Look at
from
the
0
rate
to 1.
of growth of this thing.
I'm gonna be taking over the world in 2 weeks with that kind of percentage.
That's funny.
But anyway, anybody that it would really help out if you come in and and review our Florida Talk Real Estate Google reviews. You don't have to have done a deal with anybody in the team. If you just like the show, put that in there to let other people know and let Google know that we're legit.
You're reviewing the show, not your services as a lender or
Yeah,
a real estate
but
agent.
people are doing that too, Mike. Like
Yeah.
you got a couple of reviews. I didn't
Oh.
even read them all, but you got a couple reviews of
thanks.
people really happy with Mike, and we got reviewed. There was just a review yesterday for Ross. Thank you, Dave, for giving us a review
Ross,
for
who's
Ross.
that?
Yeah, who's Ross? Ross Kamara, that's Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach.
You know it.
Which gets me to the other thing I want to talk about in this segment, just really quick. You should check out our YouTube page. We're still working on it, but just let me read you some headlines of or the titles of some of the videos we put out lately. Hold on, I got to find them first. Oh wait, it's even worse. Now I'm clicking on one. I don't know how to use this page yet.
877-927-6969.
Just
If you
bear
can help
with me.
Jim, you're more
Okay,
than welcome to
while
join
I'm
us.
trying to pull up the page, I also want to give a shout out to Ross Kamaranets for Brightway Insurance
You know
and
it.
Nate Servideo, who I think is I hope you don't mind, Nate, but you're on Facebook with your name. Nate Servideo, who's a big fan of our show. They both were huge, and my mom were all huge donations to the KOP Mentoring Network, and we
Oh,
gave
yeah.
them the computer yesterday. Finally,
Oh, how
we
cool
didn't
is
get
that?
to do it. So I was on their podcast last night from 7 to 8. They were using all the old equipment. And let me tell you, these kids are middle school kids. KOP Mentoring Network has been around for over 30 years. And what they do is they try to give kids new experiences that they haven't had. And most of them are kind of, I hate to use this term, but I don't know how else to say it, but kind of like latchkey kids. Their parents are working really hard, but there's a lot of time where the kids are left alone.
What's wrong with the term?
Right? I don't know. I don't know if that is an appropriate term or not. If it's pejorative.
I grew up a latchkey kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a little bit too.
Yeah.
So
That doesn't offend either of you?
no, I
You
wouldn't be.
latchkeys?
Should
Yeah,
I be
latchkey.
offended by it?
I have no idea.
Maybe I am.
I've never heard it used in a derogatory way.
Oh,
No,
I
nor have I.
have. Maybe it's because of what my previous career or something. But
Huh.
but the bottom line is that all these kids have been putting on a podcast every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. live. Middle school kids for 7 years now, and their computer stuff is just so old. The buffering and everything was just horrible. It makes our show look really professional.
Oh, I can only imagine, especially if the equipment gets antiquated in just a couple of years. Like
Mhm.
it really can. if it was 7 years old,
Yeah.
8, 10, and they probably got like some hand-me-down stuff to maybe
Oh,
get
it
it going.
was. Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably dinosaur era.
So we were able to get them a brand new MacBook. I don't know if it was Pro, but we got them a 15-inch MacBook. It's super powerful.
Nice.
3-year warranty plan. They should be set up for a few years with that. And I was really, really happy.
I bet they're stoked.
So everybody and the whole Florida Talk Real Estate team contributed to that. But Ross went out and did extra special. So thank you, everybody, for doing that. You impacted the community in a positive way. Those kids were really, really happy.
I can only imagine.
And anybody interested in helping out that charity, please give me a call. That is an awesome charity. It's KOP Mentoring Network on Facebook and YouTube. And they're a legitimate 501(c)(3). So you get, if you do donate, it's tax deductible.
Beautiful.
So great. Okay, now getting back to the videos, I just wanted to read some of the headlines from these. So Citizens Insurance, the only choice. Here's some good news. So we were talking a little bit about what Ross had explained about good news with Citizens Insurance. We had Citizens Insurance depopulation. This is where Johnny talked about when he got depopped, right? And we talked a little bit about with Johnny about what happened during your depopulation and how depopulation works. So if you get depopped, you can catch this little 1-minute video and kind of get an idea of what's going on.
Nice.
So that you don't make the wrong decision. Hot Ross predicted before they happen, because Ross had done that way in advance. So we just have tons. I know we're saying a lot of insurance stuff, but when I started putting all this stuff together, most of the topics we had at that point were insurance. The next big wave is going to be Mike with mortgage stuff, because today we're going to talk so much stuff about mortgages and buying and refis and understanding all that. I forgot to tell you, Mike, that we're going to do that. Yeah, I guess you should have better get ready. I guess we're going to start soon.
Do you clip on, or do you actually?
I've owned a clip on when I was young.
Do you tie your own? Are you good like that?
Yeah.
Do you leave them tied and just hang them, like loosen them up?
No, don't do that.
You do it.
It's not that hard to tie them, and I don't wear them that often. So leaving it tied, I think, would ruin.
You get a nice
ruin the tie.
What do you do? A Windsor?
I know how to do a Windsor, but I typically will do just the double wrap.
Nice.
Through.
That's sharp.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a little narrower and kind of like an offset, knot.
That always felt like, for me, it always felt like one of the more manly things to stand there and wipe your tie and put it together. Yeah. And I've never been able to do it. So I guess I've always been a bitch,
I always forget, because I haven't worn them for so long. I always forget like how to do it so that your bottom of your tie isn't down below your belt and all that. I hate that part. And I don't want it up too high.
Well,
either.
the president likes it down below.
I didn't want to get into that.
No, but I mean, it's a trend
it's style. Yeah, it's a style.
Is it manly, Johnny, still? So you got the image, like you're standing in front of the mirror, you're kind of adjusting the length.
Yeah.
You do it once.
Totally.
Didn't quite. Not frustrated yet. If you do it twice.
Still, you're like, there it is. Yeah.
You can't get it. And then you have to have your buddy come behind you and wrap his arms around you and do it for you. Is that still manly, or are we like
slow down? Slow down.
Yeah, hold on, slow down. Your buddy steps up behind you.
Is your buddy taller than you?
Yeah. So you have to see his face in the mirror.
Right? I think if he can see above you in the mirror, that's super manly.
Okay. All right. Look at that. Listen, there's something about your handlebar mustache. It's like doing it for me right now.
Right now, right as soon as Mike finishes your tie, Jimothy, he actually like tweaks your handlebar mustache from behind too a little bit.
Step on my cubes.
Oh, it's so good. Oh man, that's so good.
Is that going in one of the clips?
Yes, I don't know.
And it smells like Old Spice.
I thought it would be high karate. Remember that? High karate.
Wow. That's old school. Wow.
Well, that music sounded like 70s.
That's where we're going.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to just go over some of the properties I had for sale, and I want to just do a couple little shout outs of future customers that are coming up. I guess we'll start off with that first, Noelke and Vanessa. We helped Noelke sell his home, buy a home, and then we tried to have Vanessa buy a home. This is about a year and a half ago, and she decided that she didn't want to buy and stop.
More than that, I think it was 2022.
Was it? Yep. I thought it was 2023. Okay. So it might have been 2022, but here's the first time this has ever happened. I have a database, right, of all the people in our, that have called in over the years. So when you're married, I have you both in the same file, if you will.
Yeah.
But then when you get a divorce, I have to separate them, right? That's always that day, right? So well, some people it's a happy day, right? But you separate the people. Now you have two people in the database. Well, this is the first time ever where two people that were in the database are now being merged into one file because Vanessa and Noelke are getting married.
Oh, very
isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So now we have an merging in the file instead of a separating in the file, right? Which I thought is pretty cool. So we're going to be going out. We're meeting them next week, Thursday, and we're going to be trying to find out where in Broward County that they're going to be buying.
Cool.
And we're going to go through all that. And then Noelke has a property that he's not sure if he should keep to hold as a rental or if he should sell it right now. He really doesn't know what to do. So we're going to do a full analysis of that and find out if it's better to keep it and become a landlord, right? And it might be in this case, or if it's better to sell. One of the key things in my mind that I told him that we have to check is how strong the financials are for the community he's in to make sure that there aren't some big ticket whammy stuff coming up in the future for him.
That makes me happy. Good for Noelke. I know Noelke.
That's true. So I'm really happy for them. So we're going to be going out, meeting them next week. Mike will be working on the mortgage. I'm sure we'll probably be using Ross for the insurance.
Oh, yeah.
And we won't probably be using Trident Title because we're in Broward. So we're going to make this buyer, we're going to make the seller pay those, the title and pick the title. So we're going to do that.
Excellent.
Broward, seller picks title. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I switched back. We might be using Trident.
Trident's back in the game.
Yeah, Trident's back in.
It's Broward and Dade where the buyer chooses title.
Yes, so that's always funny.
It's customary.
I don't know what I was saying. I had a brain fart on that. We actually have a sheet that explains when should you pick title, and explains that Palm Beach County, St. Lucie County, the seller traditionally picks the title, and Broward, Dade Broward and Dade normally, and Martin is buyer, right? And so every county is a little different. Sometimes
you say traditionally, so it's not like
that's another thing that people don't get. A lot of realtors either don't know this or just, I don't know. Let's just say they don't know it. So here's how it works. Each county traditionally has their own customary way of who picks the title company and then for the closing.
So it's just customary, though. It's not like
it's not a regulation in the county. So it's negotiable, and a lot of people don't know that. Now, the important reason why we're even talking about picking title, when you pick the title company to close, whoever picks the title company has to pay certain parts extra for the title, like the title insurance and the title searches, although that date it could be a little different than that.
Usually there's one kind of like big ticket item, which it's called the owner's title policy. So it's an insurance policy against clouds on title. So back in time, protects your ability to own the home. And that's a percentage based on the purchase price of the home.
It's non-negotiable. That fee is non-negotiable because that's an insurance bill, right? So you're not negotiating with the insurance company for that.
Yeah.
You can negotiate a little bit on the fees in a title company, like the closing fee. Sometimes I've seen people being charged as much as $1,500 from the title company just to close on a $500,000 house.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And, that's pretty high.
A little bit above.
Yeah. So you can negotiate a little bit, but you're saving hundreds and maybe just a couple hundred.
But that owner's title, I just did one. It was $400, mid 400s price point, and that owner's title policy is like $2,300. So choosing who chooses title is a $2,300 decision in that case.
On a $500,000 home, in my head, what I tell people is the title costs. Whoever picks the title, they're going to pay an extra. And when I say extra, somebody has to pay this cost, right? So whoever picks pays for it, but they're going to pay for the title insurance and usually the searches related to the title insurance to clear it. And on a $500,000 house, I usually say that's like $3,500 roughly. All of it is like $3,500. Even on the 400 with the 23 plus the searches, you're probably up to 27, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's thousands of dollars for people, and the more expensive the house, the more the insurance costs.
Right.
The searches are the same. That's flat, but the higher insurance, higher cost. So pick and title is really important. So Noelke, because he's in Broward, is going to traditionally, the sellers are expecting the buyer to pick the title. But if we start negotiating and we feel like we're not getting the price we want, but we still want to buy the house, we might say to the seller, we'll take your deal, but we want you to pay for the title costs. And that'll save them, maybe a point on the loan. On the purchase price.
Yeah, part of the negotiating tactic.
Mhm.
Yeah, awesome.
So congratulations to them, my first merger.
Yeah, pretty
right. So I'm very happy about that. I also have some people that are going to, looks like Lisa Fearon, who I'm sorry, don't usually use last names. You're using last names today. Lisa and Kevin, we helped sell their house, and then they moved up to North Central Florida, and they're really happy up there. And now their kids are thinking of buying an investment property. The daughter and the son, they're already with Mike. They got approved for the loan. I'm going to be looking at possibly some new construction for them, but we're going to be looking at other possibilities because eventually they want to use this as a full-time rental.
Nice.
So we're going to find out what's best for them. And I also wanted to thank Dane. Dane has been a customer from us years ago. We helped sell a townhome, and now I'm going to help sell the townhome right around the corner.
He's a very famous comedian too, right?
No, I wish, right?
Not that Dane?
Dane, not Dane Cook,
okay,
yeah.
no.
But Dane is going to be, he's another really good example. Dane needs to sell his property because he has to deal with some big issues for his parents. And his parents are in a big, gigantic home. It's probably worth a lot for the land, but he wants to make sure that they're financially secure and that they have access to the money if they need it. And he's not sure what to do. It's like, should I sell it? Should I cash out, refi it? We talked about reverse mortgage with him, Mike, which I'm going to get him over to talk to you. So he has so many different options.
Yep.
I even figured out a way that if he wanted to, he could partner with an investor to tear down the home. And then he's in one of those neighborhoods where they're tearing down the homes, buying the land for like $800, $1 million, and tearing down the home and putting a $4 or $5 million property on it. So this house has been there forever. So the land is very valuable, the house not so much. So we're going to figure all that out for him, and then we're going to sell the townhome in the process so that he can get on the way he wants to go.
Nice, cool.
And that's what makes us a little different because we have all the resources there. I could talk about on a superficial level options like reverse mortgages or cash out refis and things like that.
That's more than superficial. You have enough of a knowledge that you know enough to say, hey, look, this may be a good idea for you. And also I got a good guy you could talk to get the real deep information.
That's if you want the real information, you got to go to Mike. And I told him that already on the phone. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to meet with him next week, and we're going to get that going and get that townhome. So I'm going to have a really nice townhome available in the north part of the county soon. It's going to be priced really nice. I already saw the comps and everything. It looks like we're going to be right in the bread basket. Is that what it is? Right in the bread basket? I was going to say bread zone.
Bread basket?
Yeah, like right in the
strike zone.
Yeah, the strike zone. Let's say that. Right in the strike zone. It's going to be priced perfectly. I expect that property to go at a pretty decent chunk.
Excellent.
Just want to wrap up this segment, if you don't mind, Jimmy. We're going to wrap up with just a couple of houses I have for sale. We still have got the Colonnades property for sale. That's the house on South Hutchinson Island in Fort Pierce. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in the Colonnades. That whole area, we talked about this a lot before, is a great entertaining area. If you want an inexpensive lifestyle to live the Florida lifestyle, and you want a place that you could just come down here and stay for a few months and go away, the cost for this house to carry this condo are very, very cheap. And it's only $195,000 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo where you're surrounded by water everywhere and tons of restaurants and great entertainment lifestyle, especially if you're older. I don't know if that's the greatest place for the youngest people, Johnny, but if you're like retirement or near retirement age, I think that's a really great area because that's
if you're
where
younger,
most people,
but maybe an old soul.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, so Colonnades used to be 55 plus.
Yeah.
Is it still?
Yes.
So,
but surrounding there too, a lot of the people living surrounded there are older. It seems like it isn't a bunch of young people. That when I say there's an entertainment district, you're not seeing wet t-shirt contests and young girls in bikinis?
Not typically. No, that's not. That has not ever really been. That I've visited that island every summer since I was like 6.
Yeah.
It's never been that way.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, it isn't that kind of Florida lifestyle,
no.
but it's like the nice. I live on the water. I'm surrounded by water. I'm watching boats and fishing and all that. And when you walk into the bars, there's a lot of Ernest Hemingway looking guys.
Doesn't mean they don't have a good time on
South
they
Beach. Party. Yeah, they party.
It's the no t-shirt.
Yeah,
contest.
It's just not as.
I got to update my checklist. So when people are looking at homes and they're like bedrooms, bathrooms, entertainment district, wet t-shirt contest, like whether I need that. Does I have to check that box? Right? We're talking about checking boxes. So.
Yeah. So
and I refer to it as South Beach, and I know people are thinking like Miami, right?
Yeah.
No, it's South Hutchinson, and they have North Hutchinson Island, and we've always just referred to it as South Beach. So it's not Miami, it's Fort Pierce.
Yeah. I remember when I first went to Hutchinson Island in the late 1990s. That's the first time I went up there, and I remember those oceanfront homes in the North End. They were selling for like $550,000. They were like 3-story homes right on the ocean, right? It was just gorgeous for $500,000 back then. It was like crazy.
That is crazy.
But so Colonnades is a really great, inexpensive 55 and over condo to go for. $195,000, ready to go, turnkey. We've got also another 55 and over, kind of a different experience. This is 64 Canterbury. This is in Century Village. This is a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath unit. It's ready to go. It's clean, ready to go, ready to move in. We have it listed at only $149,000. So this is in the heart of West Palm Beach, just a couple miles west of the Kravis Center and City Place. I don't even know if they call it City Place anymore. What do they call City Place?
Rosemary Square.
No, they changed that again. That too. The Square. The Square. I'm going to call it City Place. Anyway, so sorry.
It's forever City Place.
Sorry, Mr. Ross.
What is it again? 64
Canterbury. Canterbury.
It's like the championship game a week from Monday down at Joe Robbie Stadium.
Yeah, Joe Robbie Stadium, exactly. So, but anyway, this is a different type of lifestyle because what this is really 55 and over centric. This community is gigantic. It's got a bunch of different buildings and community associations with the Master Association. I think there's over 6,000 units here. But it's got a multi-million-dollar entertainment theater and center there. They bring shows in, and they have all these like I know that I don't even know if she's still alive, but remember the Coochie Coochie girl from Laughing and stuff? This is a long time ago. Do you remember Coochie Coochie?
I know the show Laughing.
Hispanic. She's a Hispanic woman who played the guitar.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember her name.
I can't remember her name.
Was it Zaza?
No, but people like that era, they come and perform it. They come here and perform for the people, and people pay $1 to go see them.
It's the girl from Ipanema.
Yeah, something like that, right? So I like that song. I got it in my playlist.
It's a good song, great song.
Yeah.
Classic.
So
Charo.
Wait, it's on your
Charo.
Thank you,
Charo.
Thank
Coochie
you.
Coochie.
Like, oh my
Coochie
God.
Oh, dude, it was killing me. I was like, who was that? It was killing me.
Thank you, Jimmy. That was bothering me too.
I don't know if you guys caught it. Jim just said that the girl from Ipanema is on his playlist. Wow.
And then, so that is a very affordable 55 and over community. Now, with that one, you're paying a little bit more for the HOA. It's closer to $500 a month. But because of all the amenities you got heated Olympic-sized swimming pool and all, you have all these activities and shows and all this stuff going on over there. So you're paying a little bit more in your HOA fee, but $149,000 for a place to stay in Palm Beach County is pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, the last one is one of my favorites, and this is 280 Bella Vista in Jupiter Beach. We haven't sold it yet because there have been a lot of requests to see this property, but because it's booked so much as an Airbnb, I can't get people in. So I had somebody show it yesterday, and somebody's coming over at 10 o'clock while we're on the show to go see it again. Another person coming to see it.
This is a very high functioning Airbnb.
Very good. And you know what I found out, Johnny, since I talked about this last week? So this Airbnb is a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath townhome that is 3 football fields from the toes in the sand.
Nice.
And you're surrounded by tons and tons of really, really nice restaurants and an entertainment district. And you've got the Jupiter Beach Resort Spa that you can go to. And you could go to the Jupiter Beach Dunes Golf Club, which is a public one, so you don't have to be part of the community. you're just in that area. You can go to all this stuff. You can walk to the Carlin Beach Park and the Jupiter Beach Park, all walking distance from this place. It's awesome. Right?
Very close to Ross's office, probably.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty close. About a mile and a half north of where he's at.
You can go stalk Ross.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing. The owner's pulling in about $50,000 a year, $45,000 to $50,000 for the last 3 years as an Airbnb, but she didn't really want to be an Airbnb-er. Kind of just happened to her. So the last person that came yesterday, she's been around for 30 years in this community, and she said this unit should be getting $90,000 a year if it was run in a different way. Yeah. And so here's the unique opportunity. If that realtor's correct and you were getting $90,000 a year, it costs about $37,000. Well, let's round it off. It costs about $40,000 to pay for taxes, insurance, HOA, and your utilities, right? So $40,000 a year. So you'd be making passive income $50,000 a year.
You're going to have a mortgage on it.
Well, assuming you bought it, this is called cash on cash ratio.
Oh,
so let's say you bought $795 cash and you were making, let's say, 90.
Yeah.
That's over a 10% cash on cash return, which is excellent. So there's a lot of cash buyers, Mike, that would prefer just to do it cash, and they're making a 10% return on their money. That's how they look at it, as opposed to having the mortgage debt service. And then, so it's just a way to bank your money and get a little higher return than you're getting in the bank account. I know that you could do with stocks and stuff and do pretty well, but not all the time. A lot of them are getting like 5% return. Right. So this, you can definitely get 8 to 10% return on this if you wanted to do it.
Yeah. And maybe it's a good opportunity. So there are loans out there for this type of property that you can use, especially if there's an existing short-term rental history on it.
3
you can,
years
you can use
with
that.
spreadsheets.
Yeah. And so a lot of times when you're buying investment properties and you're using a type of loan called DSCR, which is a debt service coverage ratio. So I don't know if I should explain. Like normally you buy it when you get a mortgage, you qualify with a debt to income ratio, right? So that basically determines what mortgage payment you qualify for. When you're doing a DSCR loan, there's no debt to income. It's just about the debt service coverage ratio, which is a fancy way of saying, does the rent cover the mortgage? And if the rent covers the mortgage, you qualify for the loan, right? Assuming you have credit and you have sufficient
What kind of down
cash.
payment do you need for a DSCR?
You got to be thinking like 20%. So somewhere in that
down?
range. So on this home, you say it's 800,000 ish, right?
795.
So, yeah. So you need about 160,000 cash down payment, but the rent is the number that's used to qualify. So you don't have to have any other source of income other than the rent. And the short term or the Airbnb rental income can be used for certain types of DSCR loans. Usually you'd want like a year long, like what's the 12-month rental? But if it's an obvious short-term rental property and there's a history of doing it, it's easy to use that income to qualify. So
that's like ideal for multi-units, right? I mean, that
those, and you can do Johnny, I can do those up to like normally it's like a 4-unit property. You can do it sometimes up to like 10 units on that style of property.
Actually, we're going to get into that, Johnny, and just after the break. What we're going to do after the break is we're going to do a deep dive into mortgages, refis, what's going to happen with the interest rates as it's coming up through 2026, because we're at the beginning of the year. Like, what the heck is going to happen this year? We're going to talk about the national comments. Mike's going to give us like a really in-depth primer of all things mortgage, the mortgage world, and how it impacts you as a consumer. We're not just going to talk about what's happening in the market. We want to hone down, how does this affect you? If you're thinking about buying, if you're thinking about refining, if you just don't know what you're doing, right? I want to buy, but I'm not sure this is a good time. This is going to be a great primer on what to expect for 2026.
Excellent. You want to dive into the break?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Let's do just that. 4-minute reset. We come back. We got lots of information coming your way. Of course, always remember, you're welcome to be a part of the program, 877-927-6969. If you want to dive into the conversation, if you have question, comment, concern, don't be shy. But if you're not comfortable on the radio, you have access to the entire team. One click away at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We refer to it as the one-stop real estate shop for a reason. Access to pros, experts in their field, and they work cohesively together. So when you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, you're stuck with your home, you don't know what to do, turn to the pros, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, on Facebook, on YouTube. Consume away and share, because you can change lives, including your very own, with the pros of Florida Talk Real Estate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Thanks for being with us every Saturday right here on Real Radio.
Got something to say? Text us at 47142. Start your message with Real Radio. Standard data and message rates apply, and don't text while driving. Here's the latest with weather on Real Radio.
I'm CBS 12 meteorologist Charlotte Carl. Lots of sunshine in the forecast today. That is going to get your afternoon high temperatures into the lower 80s for this afternoon. That is a good bit above where we expect temperatures to be this time of year. We're also going to keep an isolated 10 to 20% chance in the forecast for an isolated coastal shower.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
You're listening to Real Radio 92.1, and we are an iHeart radio station.
People watching anyway.
One, two.
1, 2.
1, 2.
This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Go ahead, do it. I dare you. If you got a question, comment, concern in the world of real estate, you want to be involved in the conversation at hand, toll free, 927-6969. If you do decide to join the show. Jimothy will line you up there. What's up, my dude?
I double dog dare you. How you doing, Johnny?
Man, you're really putting it on him, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, well,
Keep me busy.
we'll see. I'm well, man. Thanks for asking.
Good
And,
to hear it.
You still saying Happy New Year to folks? Like, what's your rule on that?
No, I'm pretty much done with it. My days, because of the fact that I don't work a Monday through Friday or a Monday through Saturday anymore, and my days just, I don't know what day it is anymore. I have to look at my phone.
What are you,
every single
retired?
day. No, I work weekends.
Yeah,
I have
the day of the
off.
week is...
Yeah, I have days off in the middle of the week, to what is the middle of the week for most people. So it's
throws it all off.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I don't even know what today's what, the 11th? 10th. The 10th.
Close.
Yeah,
You're close.
yeah.
You're close.
So I think I'm about the point where there's no more, unless I don't think I've seen you yet. If I'm pretty certain I haven't seen you yet. Hey,
okay.
how's 20?
Okay.
You know what I use at this point? How's 2026 treating you so far?
Oh,
Which
that's
is-
a good line.
Yeah, it's kind of
There you
stupid
go.
though, isn't it? Yeah.
There you go. Well, no, I like it.
Don't send that to me.
Don't ever say that to me.
But like what happened
like
to the
it.
Johnny I used to know?
You can say it to me, John.
My mom said that to me once. Johnny, see, that's me. There's Mike Rauch. He's the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Hello, my friend.
Hello. Yeah, I communicate a lot with email and text, and so if I know I haven't talked to you in 2026, I'm still doing the hey, happy 2026
Nice.
football as well, blah blah blah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that's okay still, but it's going to run its course here probably this week.
Real quick.
Yeah.
We're about done.
But happy 2026 to you, bro.
Hey, happy New Year,
Yeah.
man. How's 2026 treating you so
Oh
far?
yeah,
Good.
great. So far, 10 days in,
So good.
still alive.
Jimmy D's over here. This is Jim DePola. He runs a top producing Keller Williams team. I've told you for 14 years now. It's the Florida Home Pros team, Keller Williams Innovations. Jimmy D, Jim DePola, how you be?
Hey, I'm doing really good. Happy South Florida, everybody, and Happy New Year. We were just talking about this at the KOP Mentoring Network. When is the time to stop saying Happy New Year?
Mhm.
So a lot of people took the Larry David on the show. A lot of people took the Larry David method, which is January 1st, and that's it. And then after that, you don't say Happy New Year at all. Some people said of the week, like the first week, but I'm not like that. I'll
Was
say
that
Happy
his
New
cutoff
Year's.
on the show? Was the first?
Yeah,
I
pretty
know.
much.
I know it was a concept on the show.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't know
like-
how long he gave
Curb
it.
Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I'm kind of a way longer than that. I'm more like Johnny. If I felt like I haven't seen you and it's still in January, I'll just say something like, hey, man, I haven't got to say Happy New Year. Hope everything's going good or something like
Listen,
that.
my holiday lights are still up. So,
Mine too.
as long as they're up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
My neighbor across the street took them down. I think I'm on for this weekend. It's on my list.
Oh, you put them up outside.
Yeah, I got on them on my fence.
So I put them all up inside because I want to enjoy them. I put them up out there. I don't enjoy them. That's for everybody else. And I don't like people enough.
Our inside is back to normal.
They're throwing garbage on your yard all the time.
Exactly. Thank you, Jim. You understand. I ain't hooking none of those people up.
Exactly.
I
get
pick your
that.
damn trash
They
up
drive into
every
your
day.
pool. They hit your house and drive your pool.
Every day. I
You're
go
not
pick
spreading
up-
joy outside. It's
No,
for your
can
eyes
kiss
only.
The fattest part of my behind.
Our inside is completely back to normal, and that's because I feel okay about that because Tiffany puts it up before Thanksgiving. So we've had them up now for 2 months.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm not ready at all for it to come down.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes by so fast.
I know.
Yeah, it does. Hey, we got so much to talk about with mortgages today. I'm really excited about it. But let's go ahead and talk about Magali. Magali's a big time fan of our show on Facebook and YouTube, and that's where she always watches it from almost every week.
Nice.
Her question is like when you buy a house and you have to set your escrow payment, how do they calculate how much money they need to take up front to start the escrow account? Because that's part of your down payment and closing costs. And it's a good question. And I just had somebody just this week who had complained that they bought a new construction home. We've had videos put out on this on our YouTube page where they bought a new construction home last year. They homesteaded the property and they don't understand why their mortgage payment went up $1,000 a month starting January. And the reason why is that when they set the mortgage, when the house was originally bought in new construction, the tax bill was only for the land. So in this case, it was like $900, right?
For the year.
For the whole year. So that's what the mortgage payment was based on when they bought it. But then since he bought it and moved in, the county property appraiser has recognized the house has been built on it.
Oh, there's a house on it.
And now there's a house on it. And now it's $5,900 a year. So he's $5,000 a year short on the payment.
And sadly, there was never a conversation about this ahead of time.
So I was able to go on the phone with their lender and make sure all the numbers were right. And their numbers were correct. I was expecting they would be. But what he didn't understand is that he had two choices. He could just take the higher payment for a year. And then after that, the payment would drop down after he had made up the money that he didn't collect for the insurance from the past.
Yeah.
Or taxes for the past. And then the payment would drop a little bit, but he's still going to end up paying about $500 a month more than the original mortgage payment he started with. And it wasn't because of anything other than somebody didn't explain the tax bill situation to
Not they
him.
didn't explain it, but so there's two issues there. One is, that initial kind of super low escrow payment based on the land is something that should have been spotted. Should have never happened because as a lender, you're qualifying somebody for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And on new construction, you never include the current tax bill when it's just land, right? Like somebody should have spotted that and said, "Hey, it's only $900. We know once this house is done, it's going to be $5,000 or $6,000 or whatever it is. We're going to start collecting now based on what we anticipate the bill to be." So they should have done that. He shouldn't have got hit quite so hard with it, but maybe there was some reason. Maybe he had to get the lower payment in order to get his foot in the door, or maybe somebody decided, well, wait a second, you don't have to collect it. We can collect it on the first bill. You okay with that? You're going to get hit come next November of next year, whatever it is, but we can collect the lower payment for now. But of course, that should have been a conversation. He got hit. You have like the Maui Wowie gym, and you have your what do you call it? The Lowy Noe. I don't know if I invented this one, but I call this one the double whammy. Did I invent that? The double whammy?
The ouchie wouchie.
Right? The ouchie wouchie. The holy.
That's a good one. I like
moly.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
But oh shucks, this sucks.
You guys are coming up with really good names. I got to write these down.
You get it's a double whammy because you get stuck. Not only do you have to start collecting more because the next year's bill is going to be higher. You got to collect for that anticipated bill divided by 12, but also you had, a $5,000 shortfall that you got to make up
real quick too.
Yep.
So if you don't send them a check to make up the shortfall, they're going to spread that out, but then your payment is double. Like the impact is double what it could have been if it had been done right. So yeah, that's a shame. I think Magali's is actually the kind of the opposite question. Her question is like, if they've collected too much, how long are they allowed to hold on to your money, knowing that they're not going to need it?
And they're only allowed to hold so much extra, right?
That's
there is
right.
some guideline to how
There's
much
regulation
extra they can
there,
hold.
and it's basically 2 months. They calculate what you're going to need, and they can cushion it by 2 months of that number. So let's just say that they're anticipating you're going to need, I'll use easy math, that you're going to need $12,000 in escrow to cover taxes, insurance, those bills. So that's $1,000 a month.
Yep.
So they could hold up to $14,000.
Right.
Anything above or anything where they're like saying we're going to have more than $14,000, we're going to refund that to you. So they calculate what they anticipate you're going to need, and then they'll put some sort of cushion in there. And anything above, if they've got more than that, or they're anticipating they're going to collect more than that, they'll refund it to you.
And refund to you in either the means of sending you a check or adjusting your mortgage payment down, right?
They usually send you a check because I've gotten those checks before.
It usually happens in conjunction, Johnny. So they basically once a year they will do an escrow analysis, which part of that is adjusting your payment. Like, hey, we anticipate your bill is going to be this much, so your payment might go
and then a check follows
down, and then the check follows because based on this calculation where we've adjusted your payment, here's what we anticipate we're going to collect based on what we already have in there, and we've got too much, it's coming back to you.
All right, so you're not seeing either. They're going to happen together, and when you notice your adjustment in your mortgage payment, you're probably getting a check coming sometime soon.
You should just carefully read that escrow analysis letter that comes, and it should spell it all out for you. And it might be a series of 2 letters.
Oh, so they're going to communicate it to you. It's not just going to be one of those, hey, my mortgage payment went down.
Sometimes it feels that way if you don't open your mail, but if you open your mail, you should see it.
That whole opening the mail thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole thing.
Who opens mail these days, honestly? Like, you still get...
Well, obviously, Johnny knows I don't.
Yeah.
Johnny's like, hey, did you get my Christmas card? I don't open up my mailbox.
And
I did eventually because you I felt bad. It's like, oh, I guess I better do that.
I would say the more years you're in your home and kind of the more steady your insurance, like your property taxes stabilize pretty well. I would say,
sure,
but you homestead it, and that's like you're not having big adjustments there year over year. So the insurance becomes the thing that you have to keep an eye on. But if you can keep that insurance the same, the whole idea is you want to stabilize your payment, right? You don't want these weird swings.
Shocks.
You don't necessarily want a check coming back. It feels good, but that means you paid too much in the first place.
Just like when you do your taxes with the IRS.
Yes.
Everybody's like, I got a big check. It's like, well, you paid too much.
You paid too much.
That's what happens when you
much.
pay too much.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you this question, because I don't even know the answer to this, and I'm kind of embarrassed. So I'm going to ask live on air.
It's years of working out and a healthy diet. That's the secret.
It's escrow payments. When you're buying a house, let's say that the tax insurance for this particular house are $1,000 a month, just to make easy math. 500. Okay. So it's $1,000 a month. So now I'm going to close, and they got to calculate the escrow payment. They collect more for one type, for the insurance or taxes. They collect a little bit more, right? They don't just take a whole year for both of them. Is that correct? So like when you're setting up the escrow account to make the mortgage payment.
So it's going to depend on, so I will, let's put it like this, because it's hard to answer. So with your insurance, you're going to pay your first year insurance at closing. Yep. Right. So you're always going to have
the first year,
the full premium collected at closing. And some people are confused about that because they're like, but aren't I paying every month with my escrow? Your escrow is a savings account, right? So it's kind of like forced savings.
It's for next year.
We as the lender saying, hey, you're going to have a bill due 12 months from now, or this coming November, in the case of property taxes. We need to make sure we have enough money in our account, but it's your money. So we're going to force you to save that money by including in your mortgage payment. We're going to hold on to it for you. That's right. And then we're going to cut the check for you. So that's what the escrow is. It's a forced savings for an anticipated bill. So when you go to closing on a purchase, you're going to pay your first year insurance premium at closing. Okay. And that's going to be 12 months of, that full premium. What we hold in escrow is about setting up so that we have, come this time next year, we have 12 installments of your premium. Right? So like 12 monthly installments of your premium. So again, easy math. Let's say that your premium was $1,200. I want to collect $100 a month. That's going to be your escrow premium. But your first mortgage payment isn't due until a month after you close, right? So if I close in February, my first mortgage payment is due in April. But next February, I need to have 12 months collected. Right. So if you just kind of like count on your fingers, and the question is, how much are we collecting at closing to pad your escrow account? So if you count on your fingers, I need to have 12 installments by February, or maybe by January even. Mm-hmm. So you start counting April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. I've got 11 installments, right? Plus I need 2 for padding, right? So I'm going to be collecting essentially
13,
equivalent of 13, not 13. I'm going to collect 2. Well, 12 for your annual premium plus an additional 2 for the padding because of the 1 month.
You said 11 plus the additional
to get the 13.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have 11 installments by the time January comes around. So I need to collect an additional 3.
It's 3.
Yeah. So the 12th plus 2 for padding. So I'm going to collect 3 months at closing for the escrow account.
Right. So that's 14.
And the property taxes are a little different because when you close, the seller is reimbursing you for the time of the year that they own the property.
Right.
So it's almost invariably with property tax that we're collecting either 3 or 4 months of whatever that number is.
I always wondered why it was only 3 or 4 months for that. And that's because you're not paying the bill right away. When you buy the house, you got to buy the insurance premium right then because you need it right that second. But the taxes are paid in the future.
Yeah.
Unless you close like November, December.
it doesn't matter when you close, and the reason for that is because the seller is responsible for their portion of the year that led up to it, right? So if you're closing in August, the seller is basically reimbursing you for 8 months of that.
So the short answer is budget 14 months for insurance and 4 months for taxes, and you have a good idea of what your escrow would be.
Yeah, and the real short answer is your lender is going to do this for you.
Oh, yeah.
And so you just got to the question is how much.
Not all lenders. We just talked about a lender that didn't do it for somebody.
Yeah, they screwed that up. But the question I think you're asking is like how much money is required to close on this loan, right? So part of that is how much are we collecting in the prepaids and escrows section.
Mm-hmm.
And so your lender, your loan professional, your loan originator should be able to give you like, here's how much cash you're going to need. Kind of a critical question when it comes to buying a house. How much cash do you have? How much cash is going to be required at closing? Can we make this happen?
Do you have to kick the audit of your escrow into gear? Do you have to pick up the phone and get that going, or do they do that like automatically every year? They being the mortgage company?
They're going to do it. It's usually once a year, so towards the end of the year. So after they've cut that property tax, now it can happen other times, right? Let's say, for example, your insurance premium renews in May, and your insurance changed a lot. And so when they cut that check for your insurance, all of a sudden your escrow is way under. And they can see, oh, wait, your insurance premium it doubled. Well, we didn't anticipate that. We were collecting based on the previous premium. We had some space in there, a little 2-month cushion, but your premium doubled. So now we know you're going to be way short. So we're going to do the analysis now. So it will happen at least once a year. It can happen more than that, but it does happen automatically. Now, the one thing that you might want to call and say, hey, I want you guys to look at this because I know you're collecting too much. Let's say the reverse of that. Let's say you had an insurance premium, which, hey, hallelujah, we're getting into that world a little bit. My premium's now half of what it was last year, right? The carriers opened up. I shopped it around. I made some adjustments on my coverages. I'm paying $3,000 a year instead of $6,000. You guys are collecting based on $6,000. I want you to adjust my payment. Here's the new premium. Here's what it is. And I want to force an escrow analysis. So you can do that at any time.
That would have happened like to Ross's guy who just got a $5,000 discount because you put the new roof on. So that means that they're taking, because the lender doesn't know what's going on with that, but the owner does. And that means the lender's taking an extra $400 a month out of the payment.
Yep.
Because he's had an insurance drop and they don't realize it. So you got to pick up the phone and call them.
Yep.
And say, hey, things changed. Give me back my $400 a month.
Because they won't know until they cut the
until
check
they
when
know.
your insurance is
Right.
due.
So it's smarter to call them up front, and
there may be some like the reverse of the property tax scenario where let's say when you bought the home, it was a not homesteaded property and the taxes were basically as high as they could be. But you know that you're filing homestead and you had your previous home in Florida and you got a big portability number. So you know those taxes, instead of being $10,000 a year, they're going to be like $4,000 a year. Okay, well, your escrow is based on collecting for $10,000 a year. So you can either like just let that play out and you're going to have a big overage in your escrow account when the actual bill comes out, or you can call them and say, hey, listen, here's this. You're collecting way too much. I want to make an adjustment. And so there might be some latitude with the lender. They're like, hey, we're not doing it until your bill comes out. But
yeah, because that seems like a weird thing to kind of make them understand,
Yeah, and force them to like do, right? Because you're like, no, it's gonna be this, but until the bill comes out, it's not right. It's not set in stone, right? Another one could be if you're a veteran and you have 100% disability rating with the VA, you're exempt, 100% exempt from a large portion of your property tax bill.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
No.
really
Hey,
nice.
listen, if you're a vet out there and you have 100% disability and you have not filed that exemption, it's like kind of in the realm of the homestead exemption.
It's got to be 100. If you're 90%, it doesn't.
Right.
Oh, that's kind of yuck.
Yeah, it's kind of a funky one.
But that's still awesome.
They have a
It could be
veteran.
better.
Yes.
They have
Could
a
be better.
disabled veteran exemption, which I think is 5,000.
Right.
Like the homestead's
There is.
50,000. There's one if you have any disability rating, it's like 5,000
Mhm.
reduction, not in your taxes, but reduction of the taxable value. But if you have 100% disability rating, you're going to be 100% exempt from the the ad valorem taxes.
That's great. Again,
Yeah.
that could be better, but
It's huge.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Access to a team of pros. Always remember it. Know it, use it, love it, share it. It's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
I want to get into the mortgage world because we haven't really gone in deep. Now, as far as interest rates, Mike, I didn't even look this week. I think it's 6.16. Is that what the the Freddie Mac is showing?
Yeah, but wait till next week, Jim.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're going to get into that, but
Wait till next week.
Yeah.
Wait till next week.
Oh, because are you talking about with the Fed cut? Are you talking about the Fed meeting? Or are you
No,
thinking
I'm
that
talking
things
about
changed? The 10-year Treasury bill change?
I'll talk about the alternative quantitative easing idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we're going to get into that a little bit, but I want to talk about some stuff that's actually going to work first.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay. We're going to talk about some stuff that has real meaning because the stuff we're hearing about with the property, I'm just going to go quick and we will get into it. But
so last Thursday it was 617. Now it's 616.
Yeah, we went down 0.01. So you saved about a tenth of a penny on your mortgage payment right now.
It's fine.
Okay.
I want to
So
refi.
Is that a hay penny?
yeah.
Get in line, buddy.
we are going to get into like mortgage rates and stuff, but I wanted to talk about some changes that I keep reading happening. We haven't talked about it yet. So I wanted to ask you, they came out with some new caps, limits for FHA and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Yes. Loan limits.
Yes, and they increased them because they haven't increased them in so long that it was way out of whack. Oh, was it?
Yeah, every year.
They made it sound like it was out of whack what I was reading.
Hmm.
But they did change everything, and of course it went up because our prices are still going up overall in general. So let's talk about those loan limits first, Mike, but then I also want to talk about how they rate your credit because they're even making changes to how they rate your credit score for financing for a home.
Well, imagine they're trying to do anything to try to make it easier for people to buy a home, especially first-time buyers. So I'm hoping that's the path we're going to go down here. And we're talking about predominantly loans that are 3.5% down?
No, FHA, which is 3.5% down, but also regular conforming loans. So they're anywhere from 3% up to.
They had caps on if you put 20% down?
Yeah, because then you turn into a jumbo loan. It could be a
Gotcha.
jumbo loan.
That's right. The caps are that's like 750,000.
Well, that's what we're going to get into today. So Mike, could you go over some of the caps and what they mean in the different loan products? Would you mind?
No, I don't mind. Wait, are we doing it now or the break?
Yeah, no, we're going to go right through. We're going to go right power through the break. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Yep. I'd like to if you don't mind. You okay?
Oh, no, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Just making sure.
Nobody needs a potty break,
So
right?
the loan limits are basically, so if you're doing an FHA loan,
Mhm.
you can only do and we're talking about loan amount, not purchase price. Okay. So the loan amount is capped at a certain number. Same thing with conventional loans. The max loan amount is capped. If you go over that, you switch into jumbo loan territory. Okay. So maybe you want to know what the current caps are. So let's take FHA last year, 2025, for single family home in, let's call it, the bottom 3 counties, because it's a little bit different in Martin, a little bit different in St. Lucie.
Huh.
But the single family cap in 2025 for FHA was 654,350. So 654,000.
Can I stop you real quick?
Loan amount.
Can I stop you real quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The caps to the loan amount vary based on the county you live in?
Yes.
Because of the cost of living and what the houses cost.
That is so weird to me.
Well, we're in one of the, what I read is we're in a high cost area, kind of. So we get extra money for our median sales value, if you will.
Huh.
If you were in Kansas, in a small city in Kansas, you would not have the same rates that we have because the housing is like 250,000 lower.
And if you're like LA or say New York or Northern Virginia,
Hawaii,
even, those caps are higher. So it has to do with median, median sale price, income limits, basically overall. But just for example, Johnny,
always been that way? Always.
It has been, yeah.
Interesting.
And that can catch you out sometimes because you'll have somebody pre-approved and like maybe they're in Martin or maybe they're in St. Lucie and then all those numbers are different, or maybe they're in Palm Beach and you don't think about it and they're doing FHA loan. So just as an example on say Palm Beach County versus St. Lucie County. So in 2025, Palm Beach County was 654. St. Lucie County was 596.
So that's a big difference when you're buying a house. So if you're in St. Lucie, you can't buy as much home as you can in Palm Beach County, right? With these loan products that we're talking about. So what is the current value for Palm Beach County right now?
2026, and I don't have these memorized.
I have for Fannie and Freddie.
Well, I'm looking at FHA.
Oh,
right
FHA.
now.
Okay, so let me go to FHA.
So FHA, it was 654, and now it's 667. 667. So it's gone up slightly. Jim.
Okay. Yep, 667 from 654. That's a 3.26%, a 3.3% increase. Okay, I don't know what the point is.
Which is just
a
showing
3% increase.
They keep up to it. Every year they make these adjustments.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they haven't been like, oh no, FHA is like really lagging behind. Right?
So they kind of bump it like 2-3% every year, essentially, or
well, it depends on what's happening in the market.
So it's all market based.
So when we have
down,
I would say this: it's both market based. It's also how many loans do they want to insure, right? So FHA basically says like, hey, do we want to get a bigger piece of the pie? We're going to increase our loan limits so that FHA is eligible for higher price loans. Right? So it has to do with that as well.
I would think they would want to have the smallest slice of the pie as possible, would they not?
So I mean, it's a business operation, so they have some sort of quota. Like, here's how many loans we want to write, right? Because they do. I don't know if it's a for profit. It's not for profit, but it is.
They have an agenda to try to make
homeownership
homes affordable for middle income and lower income families. That's their goal. That's why it's only 3.5% down.
Oh no, I think it's fantastic.
So I know you're not complaining, but so what happens is that their mandate right now is to get more people into home ownership. But if that had changed, like they felt there was too much risk in the market or something like that, and they wanted to have less loans, so that what they would do is they'd have lower limits and higher standards to push away some of the people that were too risky. But right now, we're not in that mode. Right now, we're in the mode of
get
them a house.
And you have to remember that so FHA in particular, VA is the same. They're essentially mortgage insurance operations, right? So yes, they have a mandate. They want to, the VA says like, lend to veterans based on our guidelines. We will insure that loan against default, right? So if there's a foreclosure, whatever, there's some insurance coverage for lenders. FHA is the same thing. And so they just have, for lack of a better word, they got bean counters in there, right? And so they're assessing their insurance risk and adjusting their guidelines, adjusting their loan limits, adjusting their minimum credit scores, adjusting how they calculate income for certain segments, all based on risk factors.
Sure.
Right. And so what are the default rates? What's in our coffers to cover insurance claims? And so they're just making adjustments and taking, I would say they want as much market share as their risk profiles will allow.
Sounds right. Yeah.
No more, no less.
Sounds right.
Now that's FHA. Now let's talk about conforming loans. And what's the difference between a conforming loan and a jumbo loan?
The loan limit.
Right.
That's it.
So what's the definition, of a conforming loan today in Palm Beach County, in South Florida area, because it's all the same number?
Yeah. So single family home, max conventional loan is 832,750. Johnny.
Now that's the loan,
not the
750.
Right.
Not the purchase price, the loan value.
Amount. Yeah.
So if you buy something for $900,000 and you want a conforming loan, you have to put down $68,000 down. To be at that loan limit. That's how it works. So it isn't that you're capped to purchase at 832.
Right.
The loan can't be more than 832.
Well, and 20% of your loan amount, right? Or no?
Well,
no, not necessarily.
So conventional loans, and I don't know, I guess this is still out here. Johnny has been doing this 14 years and asked a question that I would consider like, well, that's common knowledge. No, you do not have to put 20% down on a conventional loan, right? You can do a conventional loan at 5% down. 5%. You can do 10% down.
3%.
You can do even 3% down on a conventional loan. And so low down payment is definitely possible in conventional. And so one of the questions when you're doing a pre-approval, the three questions: number one, do you qualify from a credit perspective? Number two, what payment do you qualify for? That's the debt to income we talked about a little bit earlier. Number three, what type of loan are you doing? right? So are you doing FHA? Are you doing conventional? Are you doing VA? And sometimes that is based on credit. Sometimes it's based on how much cash you have. Sometimes it's based on how your income, like if you're self-employed, 1 year look back, 2 year, all of these things. But that's one of the critical questions in the pre-approval process is what type of loan is going to make the most sense for you and why, right? So FHA, some people think like I don't have, I'm doing low down payments, got to be FHA. No, you could do conventional 3% down. It's lower than FHA's 3.5%.
It's a smaller down payment.
But if you got credit on the lower side, FHA might make more sense because of the mortgage insurance rate.
And I've even seen where you had every case is like a snowflake.
Sure.
Where people were putting 10% down and doing FHA financing. And I'm like, how's that work? And when I first started doing that with Mike, because Mike's in charge of all that, right? And they come back and say, we're doing FHA. And I'm like, you're putting more than 3.5% down.
Because their credit was 660.
Yeah. Right. Or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, so the MI, I don't know how deep you want to get into it, but FHA has a fixed mortgage insurance rate. It's if you're doing like the low down payments, 0.55, right?
Well, I want to talk about that because it's one of the subjects. Can you tell me the changes of what's happening with mortgage insurance? Because there are some regulations, some rules that are changing about the amounts.
With mortgage insurance?
Mm-hmm. Did you know about that?
No, but give me a prompt.
So tell me if this is true or not, because this is my research and I'm not the mortgage guy. Okay. You're the mortgage guy.
Yeah.
This is what I heard. They're talking about for multifamily. I want to do multifamily separate. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But multifamily, they're thinking about doing a mortgage insurance of only 0.25
for FHA.
For FHA,
haven't heard that
because they're trying to get more multifamily going. They're really trying to push multifamily right now.
Interesting.
So, and the other thing that they're talking about besides the 0.25, they're trying to say, and I don't know if this is FHA or Fannie and Freddie. They're trying to create the bills out there. There's a bill number and everything attached to it. I don't think it voted on it yet, where they are going to say that once you have 22% equity in your house, no matter the type of loan you have, you can get rid of the PMI.
Interesting.
That's one of the House bills.
So, I mean, that's the law that exists on the books right now.
Yeah, like here,
that's old.
No, the House bill. No, this was a 2025 House bill that was at the end of the year. I don't think that they've actually passed it through yet, but it looks like everybody's going to agree to it.
So it's unless you said 22%, right?
Let me read you what it's called.
Okay.
The Mortgage Insurance Freedom Act. A significant legislative push emerged in late 2025, House Bill 5508, that aims to allow FHA borrowers to automatically cancel their annual mortgage insurance once they reach 78% loan to value.
Okay.
Currently, many borrowers must pay MIP for the life of the loan.
Life of the loan. All right. So, yes, the fact that it's FHA makes a difference. So right now in the conventional loan world, right? Conventional loans, if you have mortgage insurance, which is you didn't come in with the 20% down, you're less than that. They require mortgage insurance. That insurance is a little bit of coverage for the lender, right? In case of default. So if you're coming in with less than 20% down, you need to have mortgage insurance coverage. It's called private mortgage insurance or PMI. Once you achieve 20% equity or 80 loan to value, okay, your loan amount at the time compared to the value of the home, you can call your lender and say, hey, I want to cancel this. This is on conventional loans. Once you achieve 22% equity, it cancels automatically. You don't have to call the lender. It just has to cancel. That's the law.
Conforming loans, right?
Conventional loans. Okay. Fannie, Freddie, conventional loans. FHA is different. Okay. FHA, the mortgage insurance, is for the life of the loan. Unless you're doing 10% or more down, then it cancels after 11 years, right? So if you do an FHA loan with the traditional 3.5% down, you're going to have MI for the life of the loan, the full 30 years or until you refinance, until you sell, whatever. It never cancels, okay? So sounds like what they're saying is, hey, why would you do FHA? Why are you going to have mortgage insurance coverage beyond the point where there's a risk factor that requires it?
Right. So if your house is worth $200 and you only got an $80,000 loan,
yeah, where's the risk for the lender? Like
because
you've got enough skin in the game, right? So, I like that.
Yeah,
I don't like the fact that MI is for the life of the loan.
I agree, and it used to not be. FHA, when we started the show, you could get rid of the mortgage insurance premium or PMI, private mortgage insurance, once you hit 80%, right?
So in this scenario, though, if the market changes pretty dramatically and now you're in a different equity positioning, does the MI just pop back on?
The reason why they did the 20%, they took away the 20% rule for FHA, I think was because of the risk of all the foreclosures that we had in that crisis, and they stiffened everything up. So they wanted you to pay that PMI for a longer period of time because they wanted to cover their butts. But we haven't really had another event, and I think they're relaxing it a little bit now.
So it goes back to how much money they got in the bank. Right? So they're collecting premiums. They're collecting insurance
and there's
premiums.
no foreclosures
and they're
happening.
building up their coffers.
They must have a huge
war chest.
Wow.
War
chest.
Yes.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
And the way FHA MI, because the MI factor, which right now, if you're doing 3.5% down, it's 0.55%, right? So the way to think about that is, let's say your interest rate is 6% and your MI is 0.55, you're essentially paying 6.55%. Like that's the way to think about that.
Totally.
And if you're doing like conventional, and this get back to like, why would you choose FHA? Let's say your credit is on the lower side and your conventional MI factor is 0.75. So let's say your interest rate is 6% on either scenario. And with FHA, you're paying 6.55. And with conventional, you're paying 6.75, right? You'd say, well, give me the FHA. Right. But that MI is for the life of the loan, whereas the conventional MI can go away if your home value increases, whatever. So there's a little bit of like, which one makes the most sense? And most people, what I would advise with FHA is I would say, listen, life of the loan, I wouldn't worry too much about that. FHA, this might be your first home. Right? You don't have to be a first-time home buyer, but a lot of people use FHA because of the low down payment. I'm like, what's going to happen, in the next 7 years or 10 years? Jim, what's the traditional next move window of time? It used to be like 5 years, and it was 7. I think it's probably close to 10 years.
They just said 11. They just came out for 11 years ago.
Right. So, like, what are the chances you're going to either refinance or sell the home, or maybe win, Powerball or something and pay off your loan within the next 11 years? Right. So it's like, it's probably not that critical, but FHA used to have MI premiums that were more expensive. Yes. Since I've been doing loans, I've seen it at 1.35. I've seen it at 0.85. I've seen it at 0.55. One time they dropped it down to 0.35 for about 6 months.
I didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember all the other
I was
ones.
like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I had one loan where I said, listen, we need to push our close date because if we close after this date, we're going to get the lower premium. If we close before it, they're going to have the higher premium, and it's for the life of the loan. So, hey, sorry, everybody, push the close date. I don't care. Push the close date. We're not doing that to this borrower.
Right.
So, that is all about how much premiums are they collecting? How big is their, bank balance?
So, I want to change gears a little bit. The whole multifamily thing.
Yeah. So what's this? I haven't heard anything about that.
Here's the thing that they're talking about for the multifamily MIP reductions. There are proposals to reduce FHA multifamily mortgage insurance premiums to 0.25 for multifamily for rental housing. They're trying to do that also because they're trying to get more rental properties out there. They're really pushing rental properties right now. I guess that's telling you that the feds have decided that housing affordability is not going to be fixed. And we better get a lot of rentals going. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like to me.
Those are rental properties, regardless if they're paying the mortgage insurance or not. This is just hooking up the investors, is what it sounds like.
No. So FHA is for primary residences only. That's not changing.
Oh.
So when you're talking about multifamily, you're talking about where the buyer is going to occupy one of the units. Now, FHA has always been a great tool, and so it was for many years the best tool for buying multifamily homes. Because you could still do it with 3.5% down.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we've done several of them through the years, maybe, a handful, just because the price points are up there. One rule they could change on that would be great, I can think of. But FHA has been really good because you could buy a fourplex, right? 3 doors of income. You live in one unit and it covers your mortgage payment. Like it almost had to in order to qualify, right? It had to be self-sufficient. That's one of the rules where if they loosened up on that would be good. And you could do it with 3.5% down.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it had regular MI. So 0.55.
And they're changing the limit now. So for Palm Beach County for a fourplex FHA, the research I did, Mike, was 1,601,750. So you can buy a fourplex for 1.6 with FHA financing. if you meet the correct criteria about the income coming in on the units.
Right.
And do it with 3.5% down.
And with 3.5% down. That's huge. Imagine getting a $1.6 million property with 3.5% down.
Yeah, for 2026, it's 1.282 million on a
Ooh,
fourplex. It's a little
nice.
bit less for three, a little bit more. So you have the single family loan limit, and then it goes for duplex, triplex, quadplex. Now you can't buy more than a fourplex with FHA.
Right, because
Really?
anything more than fourplex is considered commercial.
Gotcha.
But
But you can do-
fourplex or under is a residential
You,
property.
you can do duplex, and what's the cap on that? The max on that?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
Duplex.
He's got it right there in front of
Yeah,
him.
duplex cap is 693. So
Interesting.
the thing with like our multifamily here in South Florida is that they've always been on the expensive side, and FHA kind of has one weird rule that's different than conventional. Oh, and I should take a moment, Jim.
Sure, please.
Conventional with multifamily, you used to have to come in with the big down payment, Johnny. You couldn't do the 5% down.
Had to be 20.
Had to be 20. Okay. They changed that rule about a year and a half, 2 years ago, where you can do, if it's a primary, you could do conventional multifamily with 5% down.
But you had to live in one of the units.
You had to occupy one of the units, which you worked out for a lot of people. Like,
Sure.
and it's like the thing is, well, how long do I have to live there? I mean, the rule is you're supposed to be there for a year. Like that's your intention. You're buying it, you're moving in, you're going to live there for a year. It's your primary residence, right? Like that's the rule. So if you could deal with that, and a lot of people, like there were young people, didn't have their families established yet, like, single, whatever. It's like a great opportunity as long as you had the money. And then it was like, well, now you can do it FHA 3.5, or you could do conventional 5% down. So I got sidetracked with conventional, but FHA has one rule that's always been a little bit of an impediment, especially with the higher price points, right? Any investment, whether you're going to live there or not, these other doors, you want it to cover a good majority of your mortgage payment, right? You want it to be cash flow positive, right? Otherwise, why bother, right? Unless you just have a really, keen eye on home equity, home value, something like that. But you want it to cash flow. So FHA has what they call a self-sufficiency rule, which means you calculate the rental income on all the doors, regardless of the one you're going to occupy. You kind of estimate what rent could be, and 75% of that number had to cover the mortgage payment. Okay. So it's like a DSCR where it's like, does the rent cover the mortgage? Well, this was a little more restrictive because say, does 75% of the rent cover the mortgage? And that was a little bit prohibitive because it was hard to find the price point that worked with rental income and, market rental income on a year-long lease. We're not talking short-term, that met that criteria. So as prices went up on these multifamilies, it was harder and harder to meet that self-sufficiency rule. So if they're trying to increase their market share of multifamily, do something about the self-sufficiency rule. Right?
So Mike, I want to keep going with changes for 2026 compared to last year.
Okay.
And one of the things I've been reading about, I've been meaning to talk to you about this for a couple months.
Yeah.
This whole new way that they that the lenders can check your credit, the way that Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae are requirements to check your credit are completely changing now. It's really pretty surprising. I don't even know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I just know it's changing. I've read things. Let me just hit some highlights, and then maybe you can help explain what you know about it. I've heard that now that like your utility and rental payments can actually count towards your credit to help you build your credit, to show that you have a good payment history. If you don't have a lot of credit or anything, you'd actually use your rental history and utilities, which you couldn't do before.
So landlords are going to be reporting, is that?
I don't know how that, I'm going to ask Mike that. That's a good question. I don't know. The other thing I heard, though, is that they used to not count your medical bills, like delinquent medical bills and everything as part of your credit. But I heard they threw that back in there again, that regulation went away and now it's coming back. So if you have medical debt, it really counts towards your credit worthiness to buy a home. I heard that change. I heard that months ago. I was like, I haven't heard anything about it since then. And they're going to use a different type. Everybody hears of FICO scores and everything. They're still using maybe a FICO type of thing, but they're totally changing the way that they're looking at it. So, Mike, what do you know about these big changes?
I don't know anything.
For real?
No.
You got me. I thought,
like, no,
I was like a Ross moment where I threw him under the bus. I was like, oh
Let's
my God.
just okay. So this goes into, maybe I can preface this a little bit. If you have ever done a mortgage pre-approval and you have been in tune with your credit scores. So, right, you're out there, you're using the free apps, the credit karmas of the world, whatever. Maybe your credit card company sends you something, say, hey, this is your score we see. When I do a mortgage pull, the scores that I see are oftentimes different than those scores. And I'll call those ones something like consumer-facing formula, right? The consumer-facing formula, that the scores that you have access to sometimes are a little bit more friendly.
Like Credit Zen?
Yeah, there's just, and it comes down to it's a different formula. They're just using different variables and weighting factors and everything. It's almost like, you get results on Google search versus some other search engine, right? Like, why is that? Well, they're using different algorithms. So the mortgage world has always had the FICO, but FICO has about like 12 different scoring models, 12 different algorithms, FICO 3.0, 4.0, whatever. So just know that there are a bunch of different algorithms out there. And the mortgage world is using one specific algorithm, which is different than what you see on your, like if you were to go for an auto loan or if you were to go apply for a retail credit card, like all these different scoring models are used because they're trying to assess risk at those levels of lending, right? Like the mortgage, it's a big chunk of change. So maybe it's the most conservative scoring model, right? Whereas if you're going to the jewelry store, like they use a different thing because like the risk is different, right? So it's just there's different models out there. So there's another one called the Vantage score. The Vantage score gets into weighting. I'm using weighting and as a like an algorithm alteration, right? A weighting mechanism. WEIGHT, right?
Oh, weighting that way.
Like it's weighted in a different factor, a weighting factor.
Right.
They weight. They look at your payment history on things differently than the FICO model. So things like, do you pay your rent on time? Do you pay your utilities? Right? What's your pay? How do you use your credit cards? Do you pay the minimum payment every month? Do you pay more than the minimum payment? Do you use it like some people do to get buy everything so you get points and rewards and then you pay it off in full? Well, the FICO model doesn't really look at that so much. It just looks at like what's the balance to the limit ratio at the time it's reported. And they don't look so much at like how do you use your card over the past 12 months, right? It's the different formula for calculating a score that assesses your risk, meaning do you pay your obligations, right? Like, are you going to pay me back, right? It's like a fancy way of saying, are you going to pay me back? And assessing that. It's almost like, what do they do in the sports world? Handicapping, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So think of it like handicapping you as somebody who's going to borrow money. And if you were a lender, you'd be doing this. Jim, if I wanted to borrow money from you, you might want to know a little bit about my history of, do I pay my bills? And you might want, and this is the whole reason that credit companies exist, you want somebody to give you a third-party evaluation of, hey, is this guy going to pay me back or not? Or might I have to chase him down?
Totally. Did he pay you back?
Yeah.
Did he pay you back?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Right. So they got these different formulas. So the Vantage score is now one of the models that's in play in the mortgage world. Right. So Fannie and Freddie are going to be using potentially the Vantage score instead of your FICO score with the three bureaus. Right. And so you can, as a lender, start saying, hey, listen, I'm only pulling Vantage credit reports versus the FICO credit reports. Now that transition hasn't happened in my world yet. We're still using the traditional one. But so those are just like the changes that are coming, and it's about assessing somebody's ability or willingness to repay the loan.
So I was wondering the same thing that Johnny was wondering. How do the credit reporting bureaus know that you're paying your rent on time or your utilities on time, things like that?
The way the system works traditionally is the credit issuers have a vested interest in being able to get a rating on somebody. So the credit bureaus are like, hey, we'll provide the ratings. You give us the payment history, right? Well, we're gonna aggregate all of this information across the population so that if you ever need to know somebody's risk, you just let us know and we'll tell you, hey, here's their score. Boom, good to go. So the credit bureaus charge for that service, and the credit issuers, like your credit card, your auto loan, whatever, the bank, they send that information to the credit bureaus, but they have to pay to do it, right? So it's going to be the same thing. So they're going to offer mechanisms for this data to be sent to them so they can aggregate it. So if you're a rent Like it's hard for individuals, right? You're not gonna have it like, hey, my landlord's never gonna report my
That's
payment
what I'm
history to
thinking. That's
credit
exactly what
bureaus,
I was thinking.
right? But things are getting smarter and smarter. Like AI can analyze bank, transaction if you give it permission. It can do all this stuff. So it's just kind of like happening because technology allows it and becomes easier and easier to collect the data.
Do you think that this is going to help the average consumer to qualify for loans, hurt the consumer, or be neutral?
I think it's going to be neutral.
Neutral?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, are you going to pay me back?
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? If you don't pay people back, you're not going to be able to game the system to make it look like you pay people back. Right. Now, it could help somebody who doesn't use credit, right? I don't buy cars with loans. I don't use credit cards. I don't borrow money. But guess what? I pay my utility bill every month.
Mm-hmm.
I pay my rent on time. Those type of users have been hindered because no credit means it's kind of like bad credit. It's not the same, but as far as the score goes, like if I don't use credit, I'm not going to be a good risk.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's only looking at like, when do you pay back money that you borrow? No, but I pay my bills. So those users are going to be helped out here. But if you don't pay back your bills, but you pay your rent, right? Like I got a car loan, but it got repoed. I got medical bills. I hate to throw medical bills, but that's an example of something where you kind of use services and
don't pay.
It didn't pay, couldn't pay, whatever it is. You got a credit card, you bought all the stuff you wanted, and then you got in trouble and you couldn't pay it back, and then it went to collection. So all of those things are still going to be in play, right? So the bottom line is, should me as a lender, are you going to make your mortgage payment on time? You're going to pay me back. And so that's not changing. That assessment isn't changing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to get a loan if you don't pay back your loans. Bottom line.
Darn it. I was hoping that would change.
Sure.
Hey, I want to talk about where mortgage rates might go this year, according to the national economists, and what they think, and also what's going to happen with house prices nationally. But before that, I want to just take a little fun break, because this really made me laugh. Remember when the interest rates in November 2023 got to 7.79? It was crazy. People were paying 8s in real life. And they were saying, the realtors and the mortgage industry was saying, you marry the house, you date the rate, right? So that way, what it meant was buy the house because you love it, and the interest rate might be high, but you're going to refi it later. So don't worry about it. You're only dating the mortgage rate, but you're marrying the house, right?
Yeah, the lenders came up with that,
Realtors loved it. They used it a lot too, but maybe the mortgage company, but they were both in cahoots with that, saying, you don't date the rate, you marry the house. Well, there's been a couple of stories out later this year that now divorcing couples are marrying the rate and not their husband and not their spouse or their wife, right? So this is what's happening in real life. Some of these people out there, and I'm telling you that they're kind of crazy to be thinking this way, but this is how people get too crazy about math, right, and numbers. There's divorcing couples who hate each other's guts but refuse to sell the house because they have mortgage rates that are in the 2s. So they're living together, but they're living in separate parts of the house, some of these couples. They hate each other. They don't want to be with each other, right? The example the Wall Street Journal used was a couple named Ryan and Morgan who have a low 2%
nice,
interest rate.
What do you
They actually had their last name in the article, so this is not hidden. It's Ryan Hambry and Morgan Dixon.
They're like non-binary names, I guess.
And they wanted to
Ryan and Morgan.
Yeah, they wanted to they want to get a divorce, but their mortgage rate is too low. And they're like, I'm not selling. I'm not and neither of them can buy them out. So this is how it works in the real world. They both would love to get, not live together. But if they were to refi, if one of them were to refi the house to buy out the other person, they'd be paying in the 7s right now, and their payment's going to triple. So their choice is sell the house, take the proceeds, but you're going to have to let go of the house, but you guys move on your own life.
Right.
Or you just live in War of the Roses so you can have your low interest rate. How crazy is that?
I mean, it's not a new
to
dynamic.
Me, that's crazy.
No,
the
not
War
at
of the
all.
Roses exists, and that was back in the
but
80s or
that
90s.
to me,
that movie,
People
right?
stay in bad relationships because of finances often.
I think
This is that next level where they're like, we're not staying in the relationship, but we are staying together
or
because of finances.
it could be like
how crazy is that?
sometimes when you have, I mean, untying the financial obligations of a marriage is, I would say it's almost right up there with untying the parenting situation. Like, it's just a very difficult barrier to come to terms on, especially if there's like if it's a heated divorce, a heated breakup.
Mhm.
And you can see that, like, number one, I don't want you to stay in our house. You're not staying in our house. And vice versa, right? Both parties saying, you're not staying here, but I can't afford to go anywhere else.
Right.
Well, then you're going to have to buy me out. I can't afford to buy you out. Like, I'm not getting rid of this mortgage. So it's like, how do you solve that? How do you split that proverbial baby?
You hang a sheet down the middle of the house.
I
and you're
guess
like,
so.
"You
Well,
have my
this-
half."
I have some ideas for people.
Well, this couple in Cape Canaveral, how they decided to handle it, their house was refinanced during the pandemic at 2.25%.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody you just talked about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now they're divorcing, and neither of them want to lose that rate, but they couldn't stand being in the same kitchen together, right? But they don't want to give up their mortgage rate, right? How crazy is this? So the husband has decided that he's living in the house, and they parked an Airstream on the yard, and the wife is living in the Airstream.
Okay.
And then plug in the electricity into the house. So technically, this is in quotes, technically they're legally separated. Right? Separated in quotes.
How long do you think this lasts? Where
I
she's
don't
in
know,
the
but
Airstream?
this has probably been going on for a while, right? So they got this tractor, this trailer parked in their backyard, right? And all because they just love their 2.25% interest rate. I'm like, I have never seen anything where people have been that wrapped up in their interest rate. I can see people loving their house, their neighborhood, the lifestyle, the neighbors, and they just don't want to leave. But, oh, my interest rate is too good. I just don't want to sell it.
It's crazy.
The other thing I don't get about that, and this is just me ranting right now, most of these people, if they got a refi at 2.25% during the COVID crisis, their house has probably increased 30%, even with the drops, even with the reductions.
That makes
lately.
it that much harder to buy someone out.
Well, but you could also look
Sell
at it this way. Yeah, if you sell it, you probably have way more money than you put down on the house originally, right? Most of these people, they put down lower down payments. Now they're sitting on 6 figures or mid 6 figures of equity. If they sold it, they could take the big chunk of equity they had, put a huge down payment on the next house, or buy down the interest rate as low as they could buy it down. And instead of being at 2.25, you might be at 5.5. But now you're not living with somebody that you hate their guts, that you can't even stand in the kitchen with them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but why? What a marriage is oftentimes about that, right?
What about the cost of the trailer?
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think
that's true. Jimmy. Yeah,
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not at $100. So.
Yeah, that's true.
As a practical matter, like the how do you buy out your partner's interest? Let's assume that one of them is like, okay, you know what? You keep the house. Just I need my equity position, right? You got to buy me out. One way to you sell it to buy them out, or you finance. So you don't have to replace your first mortgage in order to tap into your equity, assuming that there's sufficient equity that you can tap into to buy out your partner, right? You got to come to terms. How much do I owe? All of that stuff.
Yeah, you could do a home equity loan, right?
You could do a home equity. So a second loan would be one option if there's enough equity to do it.
Without refining, you're just getting that home equity loan.
That's right. You leave your first in place. You get a second loan, assuming you qualify, and you can buy out. There are
80% equity. Yeah, that's the threshold for that.
You can go higher than that. Yeah. You can go. There's some banks that'll go up to 100%. 100%. Equity on a second.
Yeah, but the interest rate's high, right?
It is, but it's a
if you need
smaller.
to do it,
Ideally, it's a smaller
if you need to
portion,
do it.
and so
If we're trying to buy somebody out and get them out of your life, right? I mean,
yeah, and so you might bite the bullet on that, and you have 2.5. This is actually a good number cruncher. You have 2.25 on some segment of your loan, and then you have 9% on another segment of your loan. does it make sense to do a single loan at like 6% or have the two? So it kind of depends on the balance and the payments and all that stuff. And you need a professional to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing you can do if you didn't have to buy out, like one thing is like, okay, you got to untangle me from this mortgage, right? Because I need to move on my life and I need to buy my own house in the future. And with a little bit of foresight and planning, like I can, from a debt to income perspective, I can relieve you of that debt burden. Jim, if we're divorcing, I'm going to keep the house, I'm going to keep the mortgage, but I don't want you tied to that mortgage. I'm not going to get you off of it because that means refinance. That's difficult. But if I pay the mortgage payment for 12 months and I was the one paying it, I can show that we have separate accounts and all of that stuff. Then when you go to qualify, I don't have to hit you for that housing obligation. So that's another thing to think about.
Here's an interesting stat on this. 16% of all broken relationships that live together in a house with a mortgage are not selling the house or dealing with the house because they're just afraid that they're not going to be able to afford anything when they get out.
I think that has always been that way.
The single tax, well,
I don't think that's like this mortgage thing. It
but
makes
we've never heard that the interest rate is too low.
Right, but it's always been who's keeping the house, how are you buying
that
me
part's
out,
true,
like all of that
but
stuff.
to use the rationalization that I got a 2% interest rate, I don't want to sell my house. To me, it's just that, when you have a thing. Now, another thing they're trying to do to fix this, and I think this would be really a good idea. Let's say you're a divorcing couple and the spouse that wants to keep the house and the other spouse is okay with it, can't afford the house on their own. But the refi becomes very complicated. They're trying to create some new regulations where if you're both in the house, the payment's been made on time, one of them's leaving, it'll be considered like a hardship that one of them's leaving, and try to make it easier for the spouse that's staying to get the loan.
Okay.
They're trying to work on that, which I think
like
would be a really
some sort
good
of
idea.
streamlined refi.
Yeah.
Maybe that idea that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and I don't know who floated the idea, but it was one of those solutions to the housing crisis, crisis in quotes, is you take your mortgage with you, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe you take that 2.25% rate and you, like, we're selling the house, but we're taking the mortgage with us. Of course, then it's like, who's keeping the dog? Who gets the kids? Who gets the mortgage, right? Maybe we need a creative way of splitting that mortgage.
Well, it seems to me that if the bank was getting the same interest rate that they were getting before, and instead of having two people on the mortgage, there's only one person, and that person can afford it, they're not losing anything. They're still getting the same interest rate that the original mortgage was set up at. There's no loss there for them.
Right.
There's a potential to go up, right? If they deny the loan, they'll get a bigger loan. But I feel like that's safer for everybody, and it will give more fluidity to the market right now. I mean, it isn't going to be a game changer, but it'll help a little bit.
One other thing is, I lost my train of thought. It was almost funny.
Well, I wanted to
Not
talk.
funny enough.
I wanted to talk about whether housing values and mortgage rates, what's going to happen with those two things this year. I'd like to just talk about that a little bit.
You want like 100% certainty?
Yeah, right, Mike. I want you to give me 110%. I want 110.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
that's what everybody's doing.
So with
you know what? Before you go on, this is what I thought about. This is why Johnny, he's such the pragmatic guy. He has been saying for years, like, rates should be normal, right? Normal rates. Where we are now is normal rates. And if rates had stayed normal, we wouldn't have these problems, Jim. We wouldn't have these people not divorcing over 2.25%.
Because we wouldn't have had those
we wouldn't have the issue.
Like,
it just stayed at 6 and nobody would.
But
maybe we have a fixed mortgage rate. Maybe that's a solution.
Just
fixed mortgage rates
forever.
across time forever. 6%.
So actually, this is kind of related to what the research I did is that we're at what the national economists are saying, we're at a 6% standoff. So what we've seen is November 2023 is when we hit our peak Freddie Mac 30-year Freddie Mac report,
approaching 8%,
which was 7.79. But people in real life, because of PMI and other things, they were getting like 8.15, 8.25, right?
Sure.
People were getting that back then, right? And since then, November 2023, if you look at the chart, it's almost a straight downward decline where we're in the low sixes now. And we've been in the low sixes since May, right? And we just can't break that 5. We haven't hit that 5 thing, and I just read a report from national economists saying if we could just get to 5.89%, that would change everything.
World changer.
And I'm like, really? From 6.16 to 5.89? That's going to change the market dramatically? How much of a difference is 6.16 to 5.89 on your mortgage payment, like a regular mortgage payment? Do you want me to give you a purchase price?
Just
like
give me a loan amount.
So let's just say 600, which is, no. Let's just do the max loan amount allowed in the county.
Oh.
So let's do the 667? Because the average home in Palm Beach County is 600.
So that's for FHA cap, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me just do 650.
Okay.
Loan amount. Not purchase price, loan amount.
Right. So 589,616.
And this is going to be the difference in what
This
you're
is going to be
paying.
the game changer,
Yeah,
supposedly.
this
Watch
is what-
this.
This is how
Yeah,
it
watch
alters
these
everybody's
numbers.
world.
Yeah, watch this number.
I know $30 is going to change my life.
5.89.
Hey, 2 extra Starbucks.
Screw Starbucks.
I don't like Starbucks.
That's terrible.
I'm a Dunkin'.
On a 30-year, I
Mhm.
need my glasses.
Yeah, let's do 30.
So
you want these?
the 5.89 is 38.51 principal and interest.
Okay, 38.51.
6.16, it is 39.64.
Wait,
Oh.
38,
39.64.
39. Wait, 38.61, 39.64.
$113
$13.
Yeah.
So
At that loan amount.
At that loan amount.
650
Yeah.
loan amount.
So
Huge loan amount.
let's do if your loan was 400, just to give an
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
If your loan was 400.
Okay.
$80.
23.69, 24.39. 70 to 40. So $70.
$70. Okay.
$70.
So if you're
month.
an average person, right?
Average height?
No, average. Let's say you're getting.
Intelligence?
Let's say you're buying a house for, 415, 420. You're putting 3.5% down.
Yeah.
Your loan is 400, and you're like, I can't buy right now because it's 616. But at 589, you're saving $70 a month, and it's like, oh, that's going to get me super excited. I got to go out and buy. I just don't see this, guys. Now, if anybody disagrees with me, I'd love them to call up and talk to me about this.
The details always really matter. The buffoon that wrote that article, the economist
These
that
are
believes,
big-time national economists.
Yeah, I think these are big time people that are just trying to get clicks.
Does he have a psychology degree? Because that's really what it is.
No,
But we're
these
talking
were,
about
these
listen,
were wonky articles. This wasn't like clickbait stuff. This was like
yeah,
papers.
it's a
like
quarter
white
point.
papers.
We're talking about a quarter point. So I would just
Yeah.
say this: in the world of mortgages, you want your rate to be as low as
Yeah, of
possible.
course.
Yes,
And if I said, "Hey, do you want a quarter point lower?"
Yep.
You're going to say, "Yeah, all
Yep.
day long."
Yes,
now,
please.
are you going to refinance for a quarter point? No, right? But maybe this is the thing for the people in the past 2-3 years who were in the sevens, right? Maybe in the high sixes. If you get down to a point better, you start thinking about refis. And so this is a way of kind of maybe
But
fueling the
refis
refi.
don't change the market. They don't
No.
change
Right.
the dynamic.
Right,
of
the
somebody
fluidity.
buying a
We
It's
don't
home.
not
have
going to
enough
change
fluidity.
the
That's the-
affordability.
that's
It's not
the-
going to change
That's
the
the
prices.
crust of that article.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And here's another thing. This time last year, we're at 6.16 Freddie Mac this week. This week, last year, we were at 693. We're almost down, we're down 3/4 of a point. Nobody's like jumping up and down for joy and running out to buy the home. And the problem is that gets us to the housing prices. So the national economists are predicting that we're going to be in the low sixes the whole year. So what we experienced this year with mortgage rates, we did see it go down. And at the end of the year, we got to 616. We've been there a couple of times, but it kept bouncing up and bouncing down. They're thinking that's what we're going to see in 2026. Now, will that affect housing prices? So Goldman Sachs came out with a report. I'm not always a big Goldman Sachs guy. Is Goldman Sachs, is that Jamie Dimon? I forget where Jamie, is he Bank of America guy? I forget. I'm never a big Jamie Dimon fan. I like him. I like listening to him, but I don't agree with him a lot of times. Because he's always predicting a crash that hasn't happened yet. But
He's with Chase.
Yeah, I was
he's
gonna
with
say, I
Chase.
don't think he's with either.
Okay, yeah. But Goldman Sachs, they came out with the report. Everybody's predicting that things are going to slow down this year. They're expecting a 4.5% increase in home prices this year. And the reason why they're saying that, and the reason why they're saying that
You're
is
giving
that
Johnny agita.
the lock-in effect. It's because the interest rates, no matter, even though we've seen interest rates drop from 7.79 to 6.16, prices have continued to be pretty resilient. In my opinion, I think we've already had a 10% drop in Palm Beach County because the peak was last year at 6.599, and now we're at 6.05.
Which has been the recipe that we're looking for, which is we want rates to come down and housing prices
But
to come
that
down.
doesn't work.
Because if you get an artificial rate decrease, well, then guess what? More buyers come out, and then the prices go up, and all that the ground you just made up that we just talked about, you lost it on prices. But if rates go down and housing prices come down, that's what we're looking for.
But that's an economic disaster. You have to have a COVID, the Great Recession. That's how you get both those things to happen at the same time. Because in my lifetime, it's only happened twice.
So you're saying we're only down over these past year or two slightly because of the COVID bump? Because we've seen it, right? We saw rates come down this year, and we saw housing prices hold, at least, right? They didn't go up. Not much.
It depends on the neighborhood, but overall it was flat or down, slightly down.
Right. So we didn't see increase. So we talked about if rates come down, prices probably naturally would go up. We didn't see that with this recent rate decrease.
Well, we didn't see it go down either. And we didn't see a mass of people coming in because the interest rates went down. When the interest rates went down during COVID, there was a mass flood of people coming out because they were so low.
Yeah, I think it requires the action of the people, right? It's that number has to hit the point where the buyers flood the market.
This is the psychological thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And here's what Goldman Sachs says, which is what we've been talking about for years and years on the show, the concept. So here's the math if you wait. I'm going to wait for the interest rates to go down. And this is Goldman Sachs saying this. So let's say if you have a $500,000 home and the value goes up 4.5% while you're waiting for the interest rates to go down.
Which is normal appreciation, by the way.
That's correct, right? So you're on a $500,000 home, that's a $22,500 increase in the value of the home, right? So now you're at $522,500. But if you had a 1% drop, if you have a 1% drop in the mortgage rate and the price you're paying is $125,000 more, you end up with a slightly lower mortgage payment, but you have a higher debt load and less equity. Right. So it just doesn't make sense that way. Waiting in this market, if you're waiting for a better market, you're probably better off buying than waiting because you're probably going to pay more. We don't see anything that's in the crash that everybody's talking about. There's no economic indicators there yet.
I mean, I sometimes enter broken record territory here because I talk about it a lot. It's almost impossible to predict with any certainty like when the exact right time is to do something. So the only thing I can encourage you to do, because whether or not you're buying a home or selling a home is much more life-based decision than it is, unless you're talking about divorcing with a 2.25% rate or something like that, right? Like you're going to buy a home, like if you're really considering it and you're like thinking about house hunting and maybe even doing like window shopping or whatever, like you might be approaching that point where if the right home presents itself, like you want to buy it. If that's you, and that could be a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, whenever, you got to you got to get lined up so that when it comes across and these stars align as far as price in the neighborhood you're looking at, interest rates, like if you want to be able to take advantage of the 0.01 dip that we had week over week, well, you need to be ready to make it a contract, right? To send an offer. You can't send an offer unless you've talked to a mortgage professional. You can't determine whether or not you even want to buy a house in that neighborhood until you know your numbers.
You got to know your numbers.
And you got to know if you can qualify.
Yeah, if the only number,
it's like this show. We're just spitballing a little bit, right?
Yeah, if the only number you know is the interest rate, you don't know your numbers.
You don't know your numbers
at all.
You don't know your numbers
at all.
Crazy.
Yep. I think it's interesting. The articles that are continually written about what's going to happen in the future, I think is more of a disservice to everybody than anything else.
Are we doing that by talking about it?
I think shooting them down is the best thing we can do.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to bring people back into focus of that is kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's good water cooler.
Last
talk,
year,
man.
they predicted slight appreciation, the national economists, and most of the country did have slight appreciation.
Yeah, but you could have found half of them said it was going to not do that, right?
I'm not an economist, and I could have told you we were going to have appreciation. But unless we have the bottom fall out, home values appreciate typically. Look, neighborhood to neighborhood, it's going to vary, but overall, you should expect your home value to go up a little bit every year, unless the bottom falls out for some reason. Again, these articles, I'm glad we bring them up because, again, for those that listen or consume at some point, it brings you back into the reality. Don't get lost in people's nonsense.
Yeah, and these things like with the credit changes and all that, guys, just let's talk. Let's talk. Let's see where you stand. Let's see what you can do. You might be the person that really needs some advice on credit so that you can buy in the future. So now's the time. There's no reason to wait. Let's talk. We can do an analysis. We'll get you at least on a path or tell you where you stand. It's so easy to do. You got to give me some personal information.
Yep.
Right? We talk, takes time, but easy.
And it's painless, and all you're really investing is a little bit of time, but you're investing in yourself. So it's the best time you can possibly spend. Spend some time with the pros like Mike Rauch. Man, the phone call you're going to have is going to be super enlightening, by the way. I've had several.
I sound just like this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's me.
All those, I don't know. On my phone, your tone's a little bit better. I'm like,
yeah. Hey, Johnny.
Talk a little slower.
A little slower, please. Jimothy, thanks for everything always.
Thank you, Johnny. Jim, Mike, have a great weekend, guys.
Appreciate you. Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. I hope you have an excellent weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, everybody.
And thanks for all your expertise always. And Jimmy D, Jim DePola, we're the Florida Home Pros team. Thank you for your guidance and your expertise always.
Thank you, everybody. Happy South Florida. Didn't say it today.
Geez, and of course, always remember FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Know it, use it, love it, share it. You got access to pros, experts in their field. It's a click away. You can call 888-973-7828, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The hotline you'll find at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com or on Facebook and YouTube. Consume, share. You can absolutely change lives, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do. You need